but you have cards like the Water Alola Ninetales that could actually attack for weakness, maybe do some snipe damage here and there. The damage from Feather Arrow also builds up throughout the game. And then, of course, Sublimation GX, just take a knockout straight away.
Yeah, there's a lot of different options for attacking with for this deck, and that's exactly what makes it such a strong archetype generally. But we are off, everyone, and it looks like Jitmin is going to be going first.
Yeah, and knows exactly what he's playing against with Jesper's start. There's no hiding that Ultra Beast there.
Nope.
Just an insane-looking Pokemon, too. I love it.
It's looks like there's like this kind of this candy that it looks like. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's like this reminds you of that. But yeah, so the 3 attacks there. Bursting Burn, it was a leading attack. It's not even that bad because it just enables you to take your opponent's active Pokemon and make it both poisoned and
burn and
confused. So that would make more sense. So yeah, just as a lead off, of course, Burn ever since the debut of Sun and Moon, the burn rules has changed now, of course, so you're always guaranteed at least to get 20 damage with it, but then you flip a coin, and if you get heads, then you're no longer burned.
Yeah, and then, of course, Mind Blown, that's the attack that this deck is built around. 2 fire, 50 damage times the number of fire energy you put in the Lost Zone, so you only get to do it so many times.
Yes, yeah, you only get to do it so many times because you can't just keep discarding them and then bringing them back with Naganadel, just doing it over and over again, but you do play an absurdly high count of fire energy to do so, and that's why it sort of works. And just to sort of prove a point here, 16 fire energy in Jesper's list.
Man.
And a beast energy as well. So that's almost like 1/3 of your deck being just energy.
And then, of course, we can't forget about that GX attack, the one that's almost for sure going to be used this turn. Just discard a prize card.
Yes, so a Burst GX, just enabling you to discard a prize card, but then if it is an energy card, of course, you can just attach it to one of your Pokemon. It doesn't even have to be just a fire energy, actually it could be any energy. So if you discard your beast energy, you can attach that too.
And then to the Lost Zone?
Yeah. But no, but that's actually, would it go to the Lost Zone straight away? Because if it gets attached, surely...
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, so if that plays out, I have to see how that works. And that actually could be relevant here because the beast energy is in Jesper's prizes.
Ooh, hits the fire energy.
Ooh, strong.
Pretty much the strongest turn Jesper could have turn 1. Get 2 Poipole in play, 2 energy, 1 each on your Blacephalon. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. Now, another annoying prize there from Jesper's side, we actually didn't mention before, the Heat Factory Prism Star is in his prizes, of course, this being one of the new stadiums that is... All these Prism Star stadiums, they seem to have like a similar sort of effect where they can't actually be affected by other trainers to get rid of them. So you can't like field blow them away, for example. You can only get rid of them by like an attack effect or something like that, or replacing them with another stadium.
Yeah, so it'll actually change the way people build their decks for this format, where they might cut down on the field blowers for more stadiums, and we actually see that with 2 rounds in a row. Lysander's Lab making an appearance again.
Yes, just yeah, an incredibly strong stadium that just shuts off all tool cards. And
who needs the field blower when you can just play a Lysander's Lab and get rid of all of them?
Yeah, and not only that as well, but in a deck like Blacephalon, where you're doing so much damage anyway, you don't really need your own choice bands, so you're not really affected by it as much. Because that's the thing, Jesper is playing both. He's playing like Lysander's Labs and Heat Factory Prism Star because, of course, he wants to be able to counter opponents' Prism Star stadiums as well.
So I just want to point out, Jit's turn here is pretty good. Zoroark and a Rare Candy Decidueye without the use of Ninetales.
That is very impressive, and not only that, but he's been able to retreat now, and he's just going to use that 11 Vulpix's attack Beacon, of course, for no energy, so you don't even need to attach to it to use it. You can just get any 2 Pokemon from your deck and put them in your hand.
Oh no, it looks like Jit forgot to place the Feather Arrow damage, or... Yeah, he even... Jesper gave him the 2 damage counter on the dice.
But yeah, of course, once you naturally attack, that is it. Of course, you can't do anything, so that is... Yeah, 20 damage that has been missed off. Oh no, that's unfortunate. If the Jit ends up being 20 short of a knockout later, he's going to regret that. Yeah,
it's little, but some things do add up, especially against a deck that is able to one-shot all your Pokemon.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Now,
there is the first Naganadel coming down from Jesper. Pretty interesting card where it's not going to attack most times. It can, but with charging up, just attach a basic energy card from your discard to Naganadel. That is a free 50 damage every turn.
Yes, it is, and that's just the entire premise of how this deck operates. Just doing more and more charging ups, and then just do Mind Blown for lots of damage.
I love it. Jesper plays down an Energy Switch, one card that I wanted so bad for people to play in this deck, and that he plays it is insane. Energy Switch that energy to the other Blacephalon. You now have all your guys charged up, and then Marshadow let loose. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it is incredibly strong, and I imagine Jesper will probably be wanting to find some kind of extra supporter here, just to also being able to cut down on Jit's hand size a little bit. And there is Mind Blown, just lost owning 2 energy, taking knockout on the Vulpix, and picking up his second prize card.
And it looks like the prize card was... I can't see it shuffling too fast.
Yeah. If you took it from the other one at the bottom of the prize cards, as well, it should be the Heat Factory Prism Star. Oh no, he hasn't. He's taken one above that one. So.
Oh man! So both his Prism Star cards in the prizes.
Yeah. But by the way, we can confirm that if you do use Burst GX and discard it, be a Beast Energy, you do get to attach it. So yeah, that would have been
that would have been sweet to see.
that would.
No. All right. So action back on Jit here. Is really gonna try to have to combat this just ongoing quick knockouts where as long as Jesper gets energy, he's gonna take these knockouts.
Yeah, the ideal board state here for Jit is going to be if he's able to get 2 Decidueyes out, because then 2 Feather Arrows onto a Blacephalon plus a double colorless choice band full bench on a Zoroark means that it's 2 lots of 20, that's 40, plus the 150 from the Writer's Beating is 190, and that will be enough to knock out Blacephalons. That's gonna be what Jit aims for here.
It's not looking like it, especially with that Alolan Vulpix being knocked out last turn. He played a fresh one, but not having any access to Alolan Ninetales GX to search for that rare candy, Timer Ball.
No, exactly. There goes a Feather Arrow onto the active, double colorless as well, and that's going to be Writer's Beating for 120. So I guess one thing that Jit could do if he finds the second Decidueye next turn is actually just do a double Feather Arrow for a knockout. That seems pretty good.
It's not too shabby. Oh, and it looks like Jesper actually drew into a Sightseer. That was his prize card, I believe.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Sightseer, a new supporter coming out of Lost Thunder. Kind of an innocuous supporter. It's like, all right, I can discard any number of cards I want, draw until I have 5 cards.
Yeah.
Draw until you have 5 cards is not really that good of an effect, but really when you can discard 3 fire energy from your hand and then draw 4 cards, that seems pretty good to me.
Yeah, that's where Sightseer really comes into its own, and it sort of shines in the Blacephalon deck for that exact reason. You can just discard all your fire energy, do charging up, and just kind of steamroll from there. Now,
yeah, but not only that, Jesper also had the Guzma play, so he Guzma's the Decidueye, taking away that double Feather Arrow knockout on the bench Blacephalon, and already down to 3 prizes now.
Goodness gracious, it's absolutely incredible.
Actually, no, he's down to...
We're down to 2 prizes because he did burst.
Down to 2,
yeah. because he did burst, knocked out a Vulpix, and now, knocked out the Decidueye.
Man, that means 1 more just big attack will do it for him here. And Jit hasn't even taken any prizes yet.
No.
He still has all of his B-strings to just surprise that knockout out of nowhere.
Yeah. The only problem here for Jesper is that he will have to wait 2 turns to actually go for this win, because he only plays the 1 energy switch and he's used it already, and he currently has no energy on his field at all. So he'll have to,
you could see a burn.
Yeah, you could absolutely see that. Just set up a knockout turn after.
Man, you were right about this deck being insane.
Yeah.
It's amazing to watch.
Straightforward decks. Decks that have sort of linear, not in a bad sense, but linear in the sense that the deck doesn't try to aim to do a lot of different things. But what it does do, it will do very fast and very powerfully. they've tended to perform pretty well, and Blacephalon is just like the latest incarnation of that kind of deck. It's just, I'm just going to power up, use my charging ups, I'm going to power up my Naganadals, I'm going to use Mind Blown, I'm going to just KO anything you put out, and I'm going to do that however many times I need to win the game.
It honestly reminds me of a more consistent Rayquaza, especially like the version of Rayquaza that we saw at the World Championships, where you really just played that and then some Tapu Leles and like Marshadow.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly the same sort of concept. Just do build up to very big damage very, very quickly.
And there's the Heat Factory from the prizes, discarding the Fire Energy, draw 3 cards. Such a powerful effect.
Yeah, and there's the double charging up as well. And probably just going to see a manual attachment to a Blacephalon and a pass, or not even that. It's a little bit awkward, I guess. It doesn't actually have Fire Energy in hand.
Well, he attached the Blacephalon before.
Oh, okay. It all blended in there because it's all red. All blends into each other.
That's the excuse, and we're going with it.
Yes, it is.
So we do see one of the newer cards to come out in Jit's hand in Counter Gain, a tool that you can attach to any Pokemon, and if you're behind in prizes, it takes away a colorless from its attack cost.
Yeah, it's a very, very, very strong card. It's a bit reminiscent of the older Energy Gain. You were playing when that card was legal. Of course, that was also reduced the attack costs of SP Pokemon by 1 colorless, but you didn't have to be behind on prizes for that one to work. So
yeah, that card was a little bit better, but this card's pretty good as well.
Yes, it is.
It'll be interesting to see what impact it has in the format. It's been played a lot of in these decks with Alolan Ninetales, just because you can search it out.
Yes, exactly. And here's a very interesting play here. So one Feather Arrow onto the bench Blacephalon. Up the Alolan Vulpix gets evolved to the original Alolan Ninetales GX, the Water one. Of course, does have that Ice Blade attack that just does 50 to any one of your opponent's Pokemon, so you can just use that to knock out the
and there's
Blacephalon.
The Guzma Fire Energy. Jesper showing, I have game. Blacephalon's pretty good, and game 1, taking down Jesper. A quick 6-0.
That is wasting absolutely no time there. Jesper, I feel like Jesper is drawn to these sort of more simple but consistent decks. I mean, you think back to when you played a Yamega Vespiquen there. I mean, that had like a little bit more to it because you had to decide what to attack with at the right time. But it was just simple. I'm going to discard a bunch of stuff, lead early with Yamega by turning my hand size to 4 so I can attack for free, and then or rather by matching hand sizes. What's it? No, Yamega was 4, wasn't it? Yeah, that's it. I'm thinking of Yamega Prime.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm just going to do that to lead, and then I'm just going to finish off with Vespiquen. And this is a similar sort of concept. I'm just going to discard all my Fire Energy, keep using Charging Up, and I'm going to use Mind Blown however many times I need.
Yeah, so Jit's really going to have to put in a lot of work. He does have some kind of play in this matchup where it's not as bad as it was game 1.
No, I feel like game 1 perhaps wasn't as representative as it could have been for the power that Jit's deck has. He wasn't able to get out an early Ninetales, so he wasn't able to use the ability early on to set up 2 Decidueyes. If he was able to just set up 2 Decidueyes very quickly and then just fill up his bench to get the Zoroark powered up, he can just trade very easily, just one-shotting in air quotes Zoroarks left, right, and Blacephalons rather left, right, and center. But that isn't something that he was able to do because Jesper's setup was so quick and so powerful that it just kind of he just snowballed out of control for Jit very quickly.
Yeah, and the biggest thing for Jit here too is trying to play around those B-string turns. It's doable with Feather Arrow.
It is. It's very tricky though because there's some.
Man, anytime you prize Fire Energies with Blacephalon, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is because if I just hit it off burst, it's going to be very, very strong. There's that counter gain you mentioned.
Yeah, also the Weavile, a very interesting card to tech in. Able to play it just because of Ditto Prism Star, and he does play the one Sneasel as well, but Evil Abomination being able to deal massive amounts of damage back to Jesper.
Yeah, Evil Abomination, actually, the Weavile is mainly in there for Blacephalon because what you might do is you might KO some of the Zoroarks to begin with using the Decidueyes and all that, but eventually, the Blacephalon player is going to target down those Decidueyes and KO them. So then what you can do is because the Blacephalon player is going to have a bunch of Naganadals out, you just bring up your Weavile and then finish off your last Blacephalon with that.
All right, and this is probably the best turn Jit could have. Turn 1, the straight-up Professor Elm's Lecture, not having to search out for it with Tapu Lele, even though he has it in his hand. But that means he can just get a supporter next turn to draw into everything he needs.
Yep, super strong start there from Jit. Yeah, the can never complain when you just open with an Elm's Lecture. It's like opening with a Bridget all over again. It's just I don't even need to risk anything else for this. I can just do it like it is. Yeah, just looks like just neating up the board there a little bit. There's Lysander's Labs from Jesper.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jesper started one of his 2 Tapu Lele here.
He's discarding the other one as well.
Yeah, Blacephalon is definitely your preferred starter just because that quick burst GX is so powerful. We saw it there, charging up the 2, and then I got the ball rolling.
Yeah, even a Poipole is maybe like a slightly better start because then you essentially using a Tapu Lele for nothing. But really, yeah, you want to start with Blacephalon because being able to, especially if you're going second, just being able to use burst GX straight away is pretty much one of the best ways you can open up.
Oh, and look at that combo there. Eye opener, and then you can burst GX next turn for the fire energy.
Mind blown. You get it? I'm not sorry.
Oh, man. All right, there is a Lily for 8 cards here from Jesper. He does find another Ultra Ball. He's really going to have to look for that Blacephalon here.
Yeah, of course, he's got a bunch of fire energy, so yeah, he's very content just discarding that, and we'll probably find the Blacephalon off that. Now, he won't be able to do Burst GX this turn, unfortunately, but like you mentioned, he can do the Wombo combo, he can do Eye Opener this turn, and something that's very important to mention with Eye Opener specifically is that, unlike with some other cards which we've seen which fetch out your prizes, you don't have to shuffle your prize cards after you've used Eye Opener, so you can look at your prizes and then just put them down in the order you want, and then you know which one to take with Burst GX.
Reminiscent of Azov.
The
yes. Old time walk ability.
Yeah, very much. Or Alphalithograph 4, if that's your preferred method of prize search.
Now, to be fair, he's probably never looking to use that attack.
No, probably not. But he could.
Yeah, he could.
He could.
This is also the problem with the deck as well is your turn 1, you really want to get multiple Poipole in play, at least 1 Blacephalon, maybe 2. But since all the Poipoles have 70 HP, Elms cannot get them. So your deck that's not playing Elms, he only chooses to play 1 Ultra Space, so opting for the 2 Lysander's Lab as more.
Yeah, deciding that's more important, I guess. And my goodness, I just realized how shiny Jit's handed. There's a lot of gold in his deck there. So you see gold candies, gold everything.
But I appreciate the non-full arts GXs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You gotta pick what's the right thing to sort of shine out. And looks like they're having a bit of discussion here, just making sure that they clarify. Okay.
Yeah, getting the Alolan Ninetales and then using Mysterious Guidance to get Timer Ball and Rare Candy, I believe.
Yes. That is a double heads as well. So Field Blower.
Field Blower.
Interesting. Okay. So that's going to be, I believe that's Zoroark. Yes, it is.
He probably could be looking for a quick knockout here. I believe he has Choice Band in hand, so if he gets Decidueye in play, that's a quick 150 with the Field Blower knocking out the Lysander Lab.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Although he hasn't gotten the Decidueye off of this, so he's probably opting first to just go for more Zoroark just so he has more draw.
Could also clean up that Tapu Lele next turn.
Yeah, exactly. If he's got the... Does he have access to Choice Band? Yes, he does, of course. So, yeah, just next turn, just Feather Arrow, knock it out, and then do something else.
Oh, this is the awkward spot, though. He got that Zoroark GX, but playing down everything in his hand, he does not have a card to discard for trade.
No, and I think he does decide that having the second Zoroark is better, so he will just evolve that, leave himself with a 0-card hand, but if you've got 2 Zoroarks down, it's really not that big a deal.
And I think actually not taking the knockout here is probably better for Jit, because if he took the knockout, B-strings come out.
Yes, absolutely. So this is actually, it's like you mentioned before, there's now a potential here for Jit to play around B-string. Although I don't know if he'd be able to take 4 prizes in one turn that easily, because that's what he'd have to do to go beyond, because he'd take 2, and then if he took just 1, by KOing Poipole, then B-string will still be active, so he needs to take like 4 prizes in one turn to play around that.
It could be something maybe with Sublimation GX and Feather Arrow. He is very far from that, though.
Yes, he is very far from that.
All right, what is the card? It's probably going to be traded away. Oh, it's a Decidueye, too.
Oh, that is not ideal.
No, he actually draws Copycat here, a supporter that got reprinted back from the days before where people thought it was going to make a big impact being able to just play it, shuffle your hand into your deck, copy the same amount of cards your opponent has, but
Yeah,
so far it's been underwhelming.
The problem with Copycat is that a lot of the time, players' hands tend to stick to like a sort of lower sort of size where Copycat isn't that great because the whole reason people play cards to draw more cards is that you want to play them out to further your setup. So if you're doing Copycat just to draw 4 cards, at that point you may as well do Judge, and then that way you're at least maybe disrupting them because they have something good in their hand, or even this is usually better options than Copycat supporter wise.
Could you imagine having to rely on Copycat against a deck like Gramble?
Oh. So I'll just shuffle my hand as my deck and draw nothing. Cool.
All right, it's looking like Jit did draw into an Ultra Ball here, and he was debating what he's going to do. Actually evolves into that Alola Ninetales GX, the water type here.
Oh, yeah, no, that is not ideal at all. Now, up comes the Ninetales, and that is going to be just Ice Blade onto the bench Blacephalon.
All right, but he is pretty safe here. Barring an energy switch, Jesper's not really going to get a big attack off. He's probably just going to burst GX, and it's really not what he wants to do. He's already a couple turns behind.
Yeah, he is already a couple of turns behind. He needs to start. He wants to avoid the same situation. He wants to make sure he doesn't fall too far behind because this is not looking like his first game at all.
All right, and there's Bursting Burn, putting the Ninetales burned and confused, trying to slow down the Ice Blade.
Yeah, kind of realizing that going for the Burst GX here is a bit too greedy almost, because if he doesn't buy himself the extra turn here, then Jit could just very easily take a knockout using something like a Choice Band with a couple of Feather Arrows and using Ice Blade again.
Oh, and Jit actually drew into Rare Candy for the turn and then had Rescue Stretcher off of that trade.
Wow.
That means with the Decidueye he discarded from trade before, he will have a Decidueye in play this turn.
Yeah, that is absolutely fantastic. That is exactly what he wants to see. Now, yeah, there goes the Guzma. He's going to sort of get rid.
This is the best possible turn, right?
Yeah, I can't see Jesper twisting back around the
Although,
Ninetales.
Does he have another Choice Band?
It doesn't look like he does. So if he does, he's not attached it.
The lab's in play. So
okay, yeah, so it doesn't matter regardless. Still, it's pretty good.
And he actually opts not to play down the Decidueye anyway. It could be a big liability, especially if Jesper decides, like, okay, I'm going to Guzma knockout.
Well, yeah, you can just sort of try to bring in the Decidueye as a sort of a surprise attack and try to, again, like I mentioned before, play out that turn where he just takes 4 prizes in one go and then he plays around B-string. That's probably what he's thinking of there. And he'd rather, sort of make sure that Jesper doesn't think that he has the Decidueye, so when he does play it down, he can just get the most out of it straight away.
And there is Sophocles, another supporter that has kind of been underwhelming since it's been released, but found a home in this deck, discarding 2 cards from your hand, draw 4 cards.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic here because you can just, like similar with Sights here, you can just discard fire energies and then that's what you want to do with them anyway. Now, looks like there's not an energy on the active now, but it looks like just go for the Burst GX, and that is a
Naganadel.
Oh, it's an Naganadel. Oh. No,
yeah, and he only placed 3.
Oh, that is not good at all.
Granted, he still took a prize.
He did.
Discarded a prize.
He did, technically, so that's still some helpful in some ways, but yeah, no, that is really, really not ideal.
But there is a big opening for Jit here. He will be able to completely play around B-string.
If he's able to do the play like we mentioned. So, yeah, there is the Decidueye like mentioned. So there is the Feather Arrow going to knock out the Tapu Lele. And, of course, he's now got the KO on the active. So, yeah, that is it. Wow, this Jit takes a... And Jesper just concedes.
Jit also got the Weavile from the prizes, too, meaning that, yeah, I would be able to knock out any Pokemon you brought up.
Yeah, that's... it's not really going to work out there. And Jesper, being having the skill to recognize that there's no point carrying that on, and they're going to have plenty of time to finish off game 3 and the match.
Yeah, our first game 3 for this tournament so far in round 2. Yeah. Against 2 decks that were pretty hyped going into this tournament.
And it's interesting to see as well because, we were saying in the game 1, was like, oh, Blacephalon did it way too fast and, it was completely dominant. But here we just see the completely opposite display. We saw, Zoroark and Ninetales Decidueye setting up so quickly and really not giving Jesper a chance to get into the game at all. So I guess maybe this matchup actually is more like 50-50 than we realize, and a lot of time just comes up to who can get the most effective setup more quickly.
Yeah, it really depends on that turn 1 for both players. Jit with his Professor Elm's lectures, and Jesper with just getting his Pokemon in play without Professor Elm's lecture.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest issues, of course, because if you're playing a deck which isn't able to make use of those, then yeah, you're relying on other stuff, and he's kind of opted almost to skimp out on consistency compared to some of the other lists by, maybe playing slightly less thick accounts of stuff like Sightseer and only playing like 1 Ultra Space, for example, whereas we've seen some other lists playing, 4 of Ultra Space, for example, just to make sure that they can search everything out as much as they need.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best because we saw it in that game too where Jesper goes Lily for 8 and his hand is just like a bunch of fire energies.
Yeah.
And then
now, going into the prizes, now there's looks like a 1-1 Naganador line prized. 1 fire energy as well, so could hit that, but it seems unlikely. And then from Jit's side, again, a mixture of things like 1...
Nothing too bad.
No, it's workable. And here we are going into game 3, and Jesper will of course be going first. Start off with an Ultra Ball, always strong.
Yeah, and the Blacephalon start definitely a lot better than that Tapu Lele start from last game.
Absolutely.
Even has his one of Beast Energy Prism Star in his hand.
So he might be a little bit wary playing that straight away because he's not seen Jit's full deck list. He doesn't know if maybe Jit might play an Enhanced Hammer or something like that. So might just want to lead it a bit at first.
Yeah, which usually decks that play Alolan Ninetales play those tech item cards because you can just, I'll search it out. That's why we see cards like Counter Gain.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it expects to fall back a little bit and then just being able to... And because you can search it out as well with Ninetales, it just you always have it when you need it, essentially.
Granted, Jit does not play a copy of Enhanced Hammer, so that Beast Energy will stick put on whatever it is, but Jesper goes the safer route, attaches the basic fire.
And there's no reason not to, right? Because you don't know, and that you gain nothing by attaching to Beast Energy first, regardless.
Yeah, the worst thing you would want to do is attach Beast Energy, he goes Enhanced Hammer, and you take another turn to try to attack.
Yeah, exactly. It's just really not good at all.
All right, so here we see Jesper again. Only 1 Poipole and Blacephalon in play. Meanwhile, Jit, turn 1 Professor Elm's lecture.
It's too strong, man.
And the one play that I love from Jit's deck so much is, it's turn 1's really strong if you get Professor Elm's lecture, but if you actually go second, Alolan Vulpix is a pretty good card.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I would mention that beacon attack because it costs no energy. You don't even need to attach to it to make the most of it. And he's now able to just after he does the Professor Elm's lecture, of course, can just use beacon to search out the evolutions for next turn.
And looking at his hand, he already has some of the evolutions he would want. That Decidueye GX and the Zoroark.
It's pretty strong. And of course, with the Ditto coming out, he can sort of decide whether he would prefer to have that become like a Zoroark or maybe, I believe, if Jit's playing... Yeah, Ninetales, or is he playing Dartrix as well? Is that an option for him?
I don't believe so.
No, he's not. Okay, so it's a 4-0-4 Decidueye line here. It's particularly. It's completely valid.
You can do it now.
Yeah,
Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, you can.
Opens so many doors.
Yeah, and especially because the reason you might want to play at least one of the stage 1 previously is that when there are item lock decks around, if your opponent just announces some kind of item lock thing and then you can't physically get out your stage 2 because all your items are blocked off, then that's pretty sad. But there isn't really anything that's played a lot in the meta right now which can block items. So you feel pretty safe in knowing that you'll be able to actually play your Red Candies to evolve into your stage 2s.
And that's what this format's kind of evolved into with this new set is people have kind of forgotten about like Garbode or Trashlands, for example, where you might be wary of playing a bunch of rare candies super fast, where This, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to get everything I can out super fast. I don't care. No one's playing Garbodor.
No. And it's interesting how that has evolved, because it seems like Garbodor just kind of like come and go in phases, and so if you're able to exploit certain decks which make use of higher item counts in the phases where it's not as popular, like here, then you're going to have a very good time at whatever tournament you're at.
And the Beast Energy coming down from Jesper, great utility here, being able to take a knockout on that Alolan Vulpix with just one energy being removed.
Indeed. And interestingly, Jesper opted to Lost Zone the Beast Energy instead of the Fire Energy when he did the attack just then.
That's because he's scared of Enhanced Hammer.
Yes. He doesn't want to be left with no option to actually attack with the Blacephalon next turn, so he'd rather just guarantee that he's able to keep that Fire Energy on there, or at least make it more likely to keep the Fire Energy on there, so that he can just attach manually again next turn to do another Mind Blown.
Yeah, really heads-up play from Jesper there, kind of just making sure he doesn't lose outright.
Yeah.
But Jit's probably sitting there like, haha, he got rid of Beast Energy.
Yeah, that's pretty ideal. And not only that, but actually Jit's also thinking, you think you're being clever getting rid of the Beast Energy, but you're still not entirely safe, because I play one copy of Plumeria.
Oh.
So
no, this is Jesper plays Plumeria.
Okay. No, so... Okay, right, so no, that's not an option then. So never mind that, but...
Which Blacephalon usually plays Plumeria to kind of combat the Sceptile.
Yes, because
from Celestial Storm, I believe.
Yeah, so it's the one that's if any of your Pokemon have Grass Energy attached, and then it prevents all damage from Ultra Beast. So if someone playing Sceptile puts a Grass Energy onto that Sceptile to protect it, then it's almost nothing you can do essentially, apart from unless you can Plumeria the energy off the Sceptile itself, and then KO over Guzma before they can get another one.
The next turn, hope they don't play another Grass Energy.
Yeah.
All right, Jit played a Cynthia, got his Decidueye and Zoroark in play. Who needs Alolan Ninetales GX?
Not Jit, apparently.
Yeah. Looks like he has Ultra Ball, a couple cards he wants to get rid of. Still doesn't see... I don't see any energy in his hand.
No, and that's obviously the biggest problem right now, because you can have a good setup. You can do a couple of Feather Arrows to build up to knockouts maybe, but without actual energy, he's kind of just, stuck. Just pass.
Yeah, nothing you really want to...
Oh.
Did he pass without using Feather Arrow again?
Yeah, it looks like he did. And, Jesper's not going to let him take that back. I mean, he says, sorry, you've passed now. That's it.
Yeah, there's so much on the line. You really can't blame anyone. Like, this is the rules of the game.
Yeah. There's another Cynthia this time from Jesper's side, and I mean that lack of Feather Arrow could actually make a big impact as well, because in theory next turn, if Jit isn't able to find a Decidueye, then all he would have needed was another Feather Arrow from the same Decidueye to put 40 on the Blacephalon over the 2 turns, and then take a knockout with the Zoroark. But now he needs to find a second Decidueye to make that possible. It's not ideal.
Jesper finally found his first Naganadel, but it's not looking like he'll be able to take the knockout on Zoroark GX this turn. We could see just another Burn and Confused, or even a Burst GX.
There's the Ultra Ball. We'll be able to get out a second one. If you can find it. Yep, there it is. Oh no, he's getting out another Blacephalon, it looks like. Yeah, there. Okay.
Eyeing down that full art one.
Yeah, priorities, right?
So Jesper's finally starting to get his setup that he wants. He has the Naganadel in play. He has a Poipole that can evolve next turn.
Yes, he does.
And really kind of just like, okay, I'm going to start to get the ball rolling here.
Yeah, and we did see him just, well, he did do the Burst GX. He looks like he discarded a Sophocles, so again, missing. I mean, given that the Fire Energy was at the top of the prize, it was probably unlikely that he was going to pick that one. So, but again, it's still one prize he's further ahead, so he doesn't mind discarding the Sophocles necessarily. And
wow, we actually see Jit discarding the Alolan Ninetales GX for trade. Finally hitting the double colorless he needs.
Yes, at long last. And Yeah, it is interesting because he could have opted to evolve the Ditto into Ninetales, but instead opted deciding that he'd rather have a second Zoroark out. Goes for a second trade. There's a rare candy.
Yeah, he already had one in hand as well with the Ultra Ball. I think he was just trying to trade into more stuff he could discard.
Okay, that makes sense.
But Ultra Ball here getting the Decidueye most likely.
Yeah.
Second one in play.
And that does mean that if he's able to find a Choice Band, then he can just go ahead and take the knockout on the Blacephalon.
Well, he still needs a bench Pokemon.
Yes, sorry,
too.
he does need one more. He does need one more bench Pokemon, and I imagine that's what he's going to be trying to dig for with the Cynthia. So, Choice Band Basic is what he needs. Does he guess it?
Man, that was a pretty good turn for not playing a supporter yet.
Yeah, I know. It's insane, right? That's the power of Zoroark GX. Just trade into all the stuff you need. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. There's the Basic. Does he have the Choice Band?
It does not look like
No.
it. But again, this might play into playing around B-String later on.
Yes, this is true. So he can now do just 2 Feather Arrows on the active, go for the Rises Beating, and now it's just 1 Feather Arrow away from being knocked out. And in theory, you just do 1 Feather Arrow plus a Choice Band, double colors to KO Tapu Lele, for example, and then he's all good. And then he plays around the B-String turn.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see if Jit actually drew it and what he decided to do.
Yeah.
Because that's really what separates like the really like top players like that do consistently well is they think a couple turns ahead. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, if I do this, how is it going to affect me when he's able to do this, this, and this?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can't always necessarily get tunnel vision into thinking, oh, I'm taking another prize, that means I'm closer to winning, because if in the longer term you taking that prize means that you take less prizes because your stuff's being knocked out because you can't play around something like a B-String, then that's going to work out really badly for you.
Yeah, so Jesper actually had the Sophocles in hand with Treasure and a Guzma. Opt to Mysterious Treasure the Sophocles away, valuing that Guzma later on, getting that Tapu Lele, and getting a supporter so he can draw into more cards.
Yeah, he's sort of recognizing right now where he needs to be and what sort of he's missing more in order to be able to get set up more effectively and get closer to winning. There's a double charging up there, and it looks like it's just going to go for the first attack.
Yeah, he actually opted to attach to the bench Blacephalon instead of the active, knowing that it's almost for sure going to get knocked out this turn. There's the Choice Band on the top of the deck as well.
Yep. But I mean, this could still work out nicely for Jit, right? Because if he has access to Kuzma, which I believe he does, then all he needs is an energy to retreat, and he can do that exact play that we were talking about, where he carries the Lele and the Blacephalon and plays around B-String.
Yeah. Guzma, Choice Band, double colorless. Wow.
He's got it.
And honestly, I don't know if Jesper can come back from that. He chose not to take the knockout this turn.
Yeah, and that's
and he'll still be at 4 prizes.
That's not played into his favor at all. There's the Guzma. Is he going to go for this play? Does he see it? Yeah, there he goes. Out comes the Tapu Lele. Out comes the other Zoroark. Choice Band. Double colorless. He's going for it, I think. Yep, Feather Arrow onto the Blacephalon, knocking it out.
Man, what a big swing here from Jit.
That's absolutely ridiculous turn. It's exactly what he needed to sort of combat the pretty ridiculous setup that Jesper was starting to build himself up towards.
And then there is the second Feather Arrow. Right is beating for knockout, down to 2 prizes.
A masterful turn from Jitmin right there. Seeing exactly what he needs to make sure that Jesper can't play B-String, and now Jesper is really, really stuck.
Yeah, he has that Guzma in hand. He also has access to both of those charging up. A ton of energy in play, but will it be enough?
So pretty much what Jesper needs to do here is, well, he's carrying one of the Decidueyes, so that's going to prevent... And he's got the Marshadow as well, that's really important. So now, if Jesper hadn't gotten rid of one of the Decidueyes, then Jit can just go Feather Arrow, KO, win. But now, one of the Decidueyes gone, and with the Marshadow being played, now Jit needs a Guzma to do the same because he needs to bring out the Tapu Lele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all comes down to essentially these 4 cards.
Yes, plus the one he draws for turn. Is that Guzma?
There's so many gold cards and shiny cards, I really can't tell.
Yeah, I'm having the exact same problem right now.
There's the Lysander Lab too, but he drew the Field Blower.
Oh.
That's exactly what he needs.
Yes, so I didn't even notice that the Lysander Lab was there, so that makes a huge difference, actually. Now, up
You
comes...
kind of have to be all in, right?
Yeah. And just showing what prizes Jesper has left, it is a Fire Energy and a B-String. But...
Drew a Professor Elms for the turn, field blowered the Lysander Lab. First trade, miss.
Does he have one more? Yes,
All right,
he does.
these are an important 2 cards. It decides the game here.
No.
There's a rescue stretcher. Is there a Tapu Lele in the discard?
If there is, he wins the game. Let's have a look. No, there isn't one.
Does not look like it. Can he get Ninetales for Ultra Ball for a Tapu Lele?
That must be what he's going for. He does
only play the 1.
Oh
no! It is in play.
What's he searching for then?
If only he was behind in prizes, he could.
Yeah, but he can. He's grabbing Counter Catcher. What just happened?
Yeah, he pointed out that they're at the same prizes and he can't Counter Catcher.
But
because his goal was Counter Catcher the Tapu Lele, take a knockout, but he didn't realize they were both at 2 prizes. So Counter Catcher does nothing, and
yeah. But sorry, I got confused. It looked like Jesper was conceding to Jit. That's why I was a bit confused there.